Hey everybody, I hope everyone is doing good. I am here to present my case. Mystery case is what I'm going to call it. So this patient came into our office at the beginning of January, and she came in for a comprehensive Bali-Val and audiometric testing as well. When she came in, she had a walker. She said she didn't really need it, but she wanted to use it more as guidance. Um, and mind you, she is a young adult in her 20s. So when she came in with chief complaints of dizziness and imbalance. She kind of explained her dizziness as bouncing or bobbing or even swaying as if she was constantly on a boat. She also reported some VOR disturbances here and there, but they only came if she was in motion and then stopped. She said that her initial symptoms began a few months back while she was doing an intense workout. She said during that, when she was done, she noticed that she started bobbing. Since then, she's seen 3 general physicians, 2 neuro-otologists, and 2 otolaryngologists. So, a big team that's kind of working on her case. She was recently evaluated by a doctor in San Diego who did VNG testing and VEMP testing, and both of those came back unremarkable. She also had a recent MRI done of her brain. Again, also came back unremarkable and within normal limits. This patient does report long-standing motion intolerance. She also reports a history of headaches, but denies any sort of formal diagnosis of migraine. She also, during this time, reports frequent head pressure and fullness on the right side of her head, especially starting when the dizziness began. Um, she also reports feeling tremors and vibrations inside her head and body several times a day, but she notes that these vibrations started when beginning antidepressants. Since then, she stopped them because she didn't want to take them anymore, and she says that she only feels those vibrations about 30% of the time. Additional medical history includes anxiety, which has been treated through therapy, and denies any history of injury or concussion. So the patient came in and we had her fill out a Disney handicap inventory, which we like to use often because it's really good at tracking their subjective data. And she initially scored a 40, which is a moderate range of self-dizziness. So we go through all the testing with audiometric. Her TIMS and reflexes were normal. Her OAEs were normal. Her hearing was completely normal. And then we move into her posturography testing. That also came back normal. She scored an 82 during her SOT, which is well within the age limits for her. Her VHIT testing was beautiful. All canals looked beautiful and within normal limits. Her CVEMPs and OVEMPs, because they were done so recently, we just used that data from the previous doctor. There's no need to repeat that testing. And then we go into rotary chair for her case. With the rotary chair, the only thing that was abnormal, I could show you here, was her SHAWS, her sinusoidal harmonic acceleration. Oh man, that's backwards, I'm sorry. Essentially what's happening is her gain is within normal limits. However, there's a reduced phase lead at the low frequencies. There's no significant asymmetry and her spectral purity is good. So that's kind of just a good sign saying that all these 3 are accurate. During this, we do optokinetic testing, which was normal. Smooth pursuit and saccades was normal. We did subjective visual horizontal and vertical, so the patient has buttons and they kind of make lines. Those were normal. However, once we started rotating her, it's 300 degrees a second, she started clicking these buttons and these lines started drifting to the left. So those are the 2 biggest findings in her case. Her VNG, because it was done so recently, we just used that one. Again, there's no need to repeat that testing. There was no evidence during her Dixall-Pike maneuver for any loose particles, so it was negative. So yes, with her chief complaints of dizziness and balance, that bobbing, swaying as if she's on a boat, and then those pieces of evidence that were abnormal, everything else was normal and beautiful. We gave her a diagnosis. That's a secret. I cannot tell you that information. During this time, the patient decides to move forward that she would like to try therapy. She's been trying to figure this out for a few months now. As we talked before, she's seen multiple physicians, but was finally referred to us. So she decides to do therapy. Again, I can't really tell you for this assignment. I can't tell you what we did. But I think it's important to note that every time we did a therapy session, about 2 times a week, she would come in and she would say, "Yeah, I mean, I see, I'm feeling better here," and I'm every week it was just small incremental changes that she started feeling better. Um, and then every 6 sessions, we like to do a reassessment, so comparing specific objective data that was abnormal the first time, just to see if there's any change. Her objective data started to shift back to within normal limits. However, her DHI, her dizziness handicap inventory, began to increase. So that started going up, which was really interesting, even though she was reporting that every time she came in, she was feeling better. And it was kind of hard just talking with her because, yes, she would report, she'd be like, "Oh, I'm feeling better." And I'd be like, "Oh, well, in what ways are you feeling better?" She's like, "Just a decrease in severity." But she wouldn't state any specifics. So it was kind of hard to keep track of her specific symptoms. She completed her 12 sessions of therapy and decided to continue on with more. However, because of her objective data that eventually became normal within normal limits, we had to take a different approach. So I think from here, I'm not allowed to tell you any more information, and that is for you to figure out what diagnosis we gave her and why her DHI continued to go up, even though she was repeatedly reporting that her symptoms were going down. Oh, I do want to say that she eventually got rid of the walker. She didn't rely on it anymore. And at the beginning of the session, she was not working. However, she just went back to work. So she's still a patient of ours, and we do see her, but there might be different routes that we're going to go with and different people we're going to pull in to kind of work with her. So I'm excited to hear what you guys think and come up with, and I hope I have some answers for some of your questions. So thank you for listening to my rant. Catch you later.